Hello everybody, my name is... Wait, I've done this joke before. Anywho, welcome to the Fractal Block World All Weapons Mode guide video, where today I would plan to be going in chronological order to a whole bunch of places, showing you where you can find them, and how each weapon mode works. Without further ado, let's get on to the first area. There will be brief intermittent pauses between them, so expect a little bit of a time jump, and hopefully you can enjoy the ride. Alrighty then, let's get into it. Our first stop, I'm going to assume that you've been in or around Stony Sanctuary. Now, if you look around, you'll notice that in the air there are a lot of black cubes. You want to shrink, go to them, but this is not the important part. We'll discuss that in a moment. Also, I've set all my weapon mods and modes to the basic ones that you already start off with, just for the authenticity. Because the first upgrade they're going to find is the Tommy gun. Chronologically, anyway. There's only one method to unlocking it. First, you're going to look for and find an orange. Pretty simple, all things considered. Next, you're going to, of course, go inside the orange. But you're looking for something specific. You're going to go into the crust of the orange. And now, I'm just going to show a little bit of that. You may have to go into one of these shrink tubes. Either do the maze or shrink into it with the battle tower. By tower, I mean the speed chute. You may have already noticed some little holes. Now, next step is to get through this. I'll take a little jump cut here, just for brevity's sake, of course. I'll tell you when I get to the bottom. Now, you should notice that you are here. What is here, you may ask? Well, this is the first layer, of course. You're going to want to grow here. I mean, this may seem basic and simple to some, but this is the next step. And this is the part where I get you. You have to do it again. Alright, I'll be back once more. And no, I didn't forget. It's just... sometimes, you just want to be a little silly, a little funny. Just a joke, it's a goof. It's just a joke. Okay. Jump cut to the next layer. After that layer, you'll find yourself in hell. I mean, the inner mantle of the orange. There's spiders everywhere. Baby ones specifically. They're basically snipers. And you want to look around, and as you can see here, to explain what's happening, we were there, then we were there, then we were there, and now we're here in the outer mantle. There are waypoints and bubbles. This is how you progress the story. But we're not looking for bubbles. We're looking for Huntington. And you may have been pretty keen-eyed and was like, what's that? What's that right there? Ho ho ho. Right you are, my dear Watson. Who am I kidding? I've never seen that one. Anywho, you're just gonna wanna waddle your way over here. By that I mean awkwardly space swim over here. You see this red thing? There is this red thing. So we're just gonna slowly make it over here, just so you know what it's like. If you got a railgun, you can use the pull, but I think it's best to have a little bit of patience. Going into this red thing. Yep, definitely going into the red thing. Nothing else is happening here. Yep. Might take a little while. Yep. We're just gonna keep going to the red thing. Yep. Just let me grab this ammo again. And then eventually, after shoulder sliding your way around, you'll find this thing. As you can see here, that housed the Toronto. Oh, guess I missed that. Boink. Now here's the fun thing. Don't get too comfortable. Because guess what you gotta deal with? This. I mean, truthfully, it's not that bad, but trying to get annihilated. Now, there's two ways in. You can either do a maze, or you can pay $200. Fortunately for me, I spent all my money on crack. So, maze it is. Now, this maze is pretty interesting, but I recommend you do your best to find a corner as quickly as possible. Oop. Don't be afraid to grow, but if you're not at this size, you can't really do the maze to its completion. And also, this little secret thing that you can do that I haven't done yet in relation to the maze. But you're just gonna wanna... That's a blood boy. I'm just gonna show you what you should do. Take one of these grows. If you want to play it safe, you can clear these places out. Or you can just, you know, find the treasure room as is. And from this point, make sure you remember the way. As you're finding a shrink. That's a cranberry, by the way. Or is it a raspberry? Anywho, make sure you remember the way. And it's honestly pretty surprising that I don't have to checking the time, and I don't have to go to the map room. But basically, the reason why I said to go to a corner is because the corners have map rooms and interesting stuff in them, and you can engage with them even if you're large. So the strategy is to just grow and engage the maze. Remember what you need to remember, and just do it. Or use a map room. Or super use a map room if you know how to operate the secret. As you can see here, we're almost there. Ooh, money. Drop. Bloink. Oh, EMP radius, how kind. There it is, right here. Tommy gun. Some upgrades. jumbo yellow flower, and a waypoint. And that's all the ways that you can unlock the Tommy gun. Next in line is the high velocity rocket. This one is also achievable before going into any infinities. In fact, this is the very cusp of it. I mean, there's many places to find the specific thing that you need to get to it. But today, let's take a route that I know will definitely guarantee one. I.e., the lighthouse. If that makes sense. So basically, what we're going to do is find one of these handy-dandy lighthouses. We're gonna now we're tiny. Also, just to show you my stat line, do be a little careful, because these are my upgrades. Some of these are going to be huge power spikes, some of them not as many. Anyways, this is one way to do it. Want to go in here? Not in here though, that's not necessary. You're gonna want to go in here. It's full of ogres, so it's pretty good for XP. But just try to ignore them for now, okay? You're trying to get as down as you can, because we're looking for the bottom. So you're just gonna keep going down and down, and let's just expedite this process a little bit. Not for me, but for you. How's that sound? Oh, who am I kidding? You couldn't answer me even if you tried. Let's go. Honk shoo, I'm falling asleep over here. Alright, I'm at the bottom. Where's the bottom? Close enough. It's got this thing here. This will be important for later. Shoot these dudes. But if you can't handle them, you can just shrink. See this thingamabob right here? Ooh, blue. Have I been here? No, haven't. That's a fun adventure for later, but let's not get distracted. You may see this and think, "Oh, you idiot! That's a friggin' buttercup." Nuh-uh. Shrunk. See these X's? Don't go in them. There's nothing for you in them, other than typical buttercup loot, if you're into that. You're just gonna want to keep shrinking, and 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 shrinking. Oh, you tried to trick me. It's an actual buttercup. You silly. There's gonna be some loot here, just to help you out. In case the enemies are a little too tough. Just want to keep doing this till you see a red guy. It's also waypoints in case you need to use them too. Keep going around these, shrinking and shrinking. Oop, red guy. We're getting close. Sweet. Come on. You can do this faster, but this is generally probably the speed at which you'll experience this. Not doing much railgun pulling, even though I probably should. There's guaranteed to be another one of them somewhere. Nice. Now at this point, we are really close. Just keep doing it. Just make sure to keep note. And eventually, hello. Ooh, that might kill him. Blue guy. Oh, his health tower's here. Knock, and there you go. High velocity rocket. Now let's take this baby for a test drive. So you can probably guess. It's pretty fast. It's not hit scan, but it might as well be. It goes real fast. Hurts even faster. I mean, also its blast radius is pretty good too. Anyways, let me get out of here. Hoo boy. This is not fun. For them. Next weapon. Next, you're going to want to go into I1. For our next weapon, what you're going to want to do, let's go down these here holes. See? And you're just going to want to keep... Oh, whoops. I did it a little too early. You're looking for a specific structure. You're looking for these. You're just going to want to keep shrinking and growing. And I guess, technically, this is also a mild guide for getting through I1. So you'd have to do the same thing. Whoops, forgot to shrink. Not one nearby, eh? No matter. This next weapon upgrade's for your railgun. It's pretty good for damage, but not the most efficient on ammo. Then again, railgun ammo tends to be everywhere. So you're going to want to shrink again. To one of these holes. Just want to keep doing that until you find well, you'll see. This. Now you're going to want to shrink again, but not twice. because there's a whole carpet of spirits on the upper layer of this soon-to-be structure. And if you're not like mid to late game and can kill them within like seconds, it's not gonna go well for you. So what you want to do is find a Williston. And these are the best shrink places because they don't require you to have to go through anything. Nothing full of Vulcans, you just go straight there. Now I'm just going to look around a little bit to see if there's one that's right next to a Williston, because these are my preferred ones. And skadoosh. And just like that, you're into exploring I-1 a little bit deeper. Now, that you're in Williston, grab your trophy, and you want to find the Williston Caves. Also, you get the staple area, weapons demo. Just like that, you're flying around. Now, I'll show you where to go in a moment. I would just like to take the time to devise a small route. We'll be right back. Right? Now, your next step will be flying around, sniffing at the ground a little bit, maybe dragging your face on it, until you find one of these. This is the Williston Caves. This is exactly what you need. But, as you may already see, you're a tad bit too big. So your options are to go into an apple tree, go about until there, and fly out one of the holes, which is a bit more dangerous, or use the shrink tube. It's got these dudes in it. They're not particularly threatening. They do a mild bit of damage. Take them out however you so please. Now you may already notice, if you want to continue down the main branch, you go to Bristol. But if you're looking for goods, this is what you're looking for. Hell yeah! Boom. Now this place is a pretty interesting location. You're gonna find these map rooms. Right? Oh, so I'm here. So if I go back 1, 2, 3 blocks and just to the right, I'll find an exit. Well, to the left. My right, but the game's left. That's 1. Make it 2. See? One more, and then I make a right. Well, a left. This area is not too dangerous. It's pretty good. And this is a nice fun maze. As you do this, you'll notice these massive holes in the floor. Now you're just going to do this a few more times, because these go in layers. I can't remember the exact number, but I'll tell you when I get there. And it's as simple as that. Kill a minor guardian, find a map room, count them out, tells you exactly where you need to go. Oh wow, how lucky. It's right in front of me. I guess I'll be cutting a little later. Or maybe not at all. These things can be done rather quickly. So long as you can keep count of numbers on your fingers. So anybody outside of elementary school shouldn't have too tough a time with it. But don't let that discourage you, if you are. And this is the last exit. Looks like I'm going to be turning all left. Huh? Rat. Yeah, be wary. So here I am. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a snaking pattern. So I go forward 3, I go left 3, then I go back 2, left 2, back 2, left 2. It's a snake. So that's 1. That's another. Well, that's 2. I'm not going to use language that confuses myself. 3. Now I'm going to go back. 1. Then 2. I hate these rats. 1. Ooh, what's this? Must be an ammo room. Nope, free upgrade. Wait a second. Yep. Not every room has a map room, so try to remember where you're going. Honestly, hope I didn't forget. Getting distracted by those rats. Now the map room. Let's see where we're at. Sweet. So now I'm gonna go straight 1. Front 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just gonna go back right. And just like that, we should be just about done here. Just one more. And bada bing, bada boom. Babooshka, but Bob's your uncle. And here, you gain access to a very useful upgrade. You get your trophy, claim your nice upgrades, and also there's a key here for 40 seconds, in case you really need it. Now you get the rapid railgun. And that one does this. Let's show some dudes outside of our neighborhood a piece of our minds. It does more damage, if I recall, or at least the same damage. Actually, I can just check the stats. Yep, same damage, and it fires many of them rapidly. The results may vary based off of your stat lines. And also, in this library, if I can recall correctly, I'm just going to check because I don't want to sound dumb. Oh, cool. It's the other one. Anywho, that's where you find one of these. On to the next weapon. Now, if you can believe it or not, the next upgrade that you can find technically in chronological order is a railgun upgrade. Along the main branch, of course. If you decide to go to space and do my Atlantis stuff, you can basically get these in any order you want. Oh, wow, an I1 flower. How cute. Anywho, what you want to do is shrink until you find a cute little island like this. This unlock method's going to feel a little bit familiar. Go here. And now, you're going to want to shrink another time. We're going to the Mystic Vines. What you're going to want to do is keep going in these vines till you find... No, not quite. That's sort of what we're looking for, but it's a specific type. You need to find one with numbers in it. Ah, good. Very good. And I use technically very briskly here because I do not recommend you do this unless you either have a lot of patience or a certain upgrade that we're actually going to go for next, which is very critical for many things in this game. Shoot. Well, guess we gotta find another. Anywho. It's as simple as flying over to 1, then seeing if there's 2, and then inside that 2 if there's 3. If you want to be safe before you shrink, you should use an EMP. But if you don't need to, you don't need to. What you do next? Shoot, not my day. Okay, I'll get back to you when we find one that's actually of the proper everything. Or now you're gonna want to go into this. You're gonna notice something. Huh, neat, it's not here. Just kidding, it is here. I'm pretty sure there's waypoint areas and whatever, but also there's some here. This is a lab bundle. No kidding. But this is a fun little area because now you get to go gambling. These lab bundles will have many things on and near them. Minigun forests. Those guys. Black flowers. But you're looking for something in specific. Whoa. And a library. I recommend setting a waypoint around here. Demonstration. Now, champ, all you gotta do is fly around, check any and all of these as you can. Because if you're doing it this way, you're probably gonna be here for a lump sum of time. Just a smidge. Or longer. There's really no telling when you're in I2. This area is funny and unrelenting in its pursuit to make you as unhappy as possible. I will now take a quick jump cut until we find what we need, but I assure you my process is no different than just flying to this section. Nope. Flying to that one. Still nope. Let's do this one. Maybe. How about, I'd say, maybe that one. Oh, wow. Now, here's the thing. This is a pretty long one. And I don't recommend you do this until after you get a certain thing. The walls. That's the only reason why I recommend you not do this in I2, unless you really, really want / need the vampire railgun for some reason. The super vamp. But there's only one problem. If you need it, what else is going on? What's happening? Gonna want to go in through the sides of this thing. Shrink a little bit. Keep on going. Luckily, since I got the patience for it, I am definitely willing to get to the center to show you what that's like. But you're not going to see the whole journey. All I'm going to do is pay attention to the playtime that I have when I start in here versus how much I have when I get out or into the center, because that should tell you everything you need to know. But the first things first, you're going to want to look for one of these things that says map. And oh yeah, I know I didn't mention it, but this area is also kind of dangerous. So be prepared for that. Consider using an EMP, though it won't really save you at all. There's blinds in case you need them. You can see here, you're on the walls of the mushroom, 4 mega chunks thick. And if you keep going, you'll reach the inner cavity. But basically that means, yep, you're here. You want to be about here. So just keep flying, straight as you can, forever, and eventually, you'll make it all the way to the... Oh, we appear to be nearing... I'm pretty sure this is only one of the 4 things you need to go into. Or maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. They didn't take too long. Just use some strategic dark holes. Jeez Louise, that is loud. Anywho. A bit of dark hole spam and railgun pulling, you should be good. I got too bored. Luckily, things are looking up. 2. And if you need a break, there's these tiny little islands. This entire place mimics the whole Fnatic lattice of I2 or whatever. Oh wow, a Hexatrix. Hexatrix. Oh right, can't shoot him with that. Or that either. Neat. Going to the plugs. And there you go. Well, sort of. There's still this one thing, as you'll see here. Checking the time again. Be careful not to grow too large. You can easily get stuck here. Anywho. Just want to get over here. Don't grow again. At this point, it can only harm you. This is what you want. Now, it's not over yet, as you'll soon find. Hoo boy. Almost, but not quite. You're going to want to take this inside. I recommend using an EMP. But there you have it. Now I think about it, that wasn't too long. Huh. I see. I seem to have forgotten the part where I have to be even smaller. Whoops. Oh well. Just grow as close as you can. I mean, you've already been through that. This is nothing. And besides, your traveling journeys are about to get a heck of a lot easier after this upgrade. Don't get tricked by the grows. Because there's not going to be any shrinks. Almost there. And bada boom. The Super Vampire Railgun. Look at the classic Railgun stats. Look at the Vampire Railgun stats. And now notice something. This is just the two of them mixed together. Absolutely. This is an amazing weapon. And I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it. It ups your survivability by a metric butt ton, and I don't even know how to measure that. There's also towns if you need them. I forgot which one's in specific, but just to show it off, because you might as well know what's in here. Seriously? You have, I know it's a Toronto, and a Danville. And the number 2 entry of a blue flower. Some trophies, some upgrades. And I guess technically there should be a Montreal in the Danville. Or maybe in the Toronto. On to the next weapon. Next, I'm going to assume that you have access to I3. At least easy access. This next upgrade is going to be very integral for what we're doing here. Very useful. Oh, wow. A river. Jeez Louise. Other than that, these spawns are terrible. At least that's there. Not like it's particularly useful. Hold on, let me find another I3 real quick. You can just find one by flying around. What we're going to be doing is going into the mahogany tree and the treetop after we go into a sandbox. Alright. Now, in a rerolled I3... oh, never mind. I don't have enough. So, what we're looking for is this square right here, the yellow one. This is a sandbox. There it is right there. Also, wow, this is a really, really fortunate spawn. There's a hellflower right next to that sandbox. Anyway, what we're going to want to do is float our way over here. And if you can't take the motherships in this area very well, then I recommend not shrinking more than once. Because they only hurt you when you're bigger than them, I mean when you're smaller than them. And you should be able to find a cactus around here, not a cactus, but a desert flower around here somewhere. Looking for desert flowers. That thing we passed by, cactus. That thing, cactus. Cactus. You just want to keep flying around so you eventually find a desert flower. I was honestly starting to get worried that only cacti spawned in the upper layer and that you'd have to shrink, but it's not entirely necessary. It also means you can do it without being attacked by motherships. But to do this area, you basically want to go in here. You'll keep shrinking. And there'll be an area where it'll tell you you need to be practical. There's only waste so much time. You cannot hide your head in the clouds. There actually is a secret trophy if you go up in the clouds, but it's full of, like, high-level slivers and whatnot, so... yeah, if you have a really good EMP, this area is a joke, but you can still do it even if you don't have any EMPs at all. What you're supposed to normally do is fly into these blinders to make sure that the enemies can't... that they have to revert their attack delays, like a lizard in the sun. But what you're looking for is one of these. And there's also treasure everywhere. Also, this unlocks one of the best ways to get EXP in the game, period, in the nuclear propulsion. This is not just any upgrade, but it is the upgrade. Just watch as I make a daring escape. And just like that, we're out. Now, moving on to the next segment. Inside of the treetops and the mahogany trees themselves, you're going to find weapons and places where you can find more of those weapons. I'm going to start with the treetops because that's where you get the actual weapons, the new ones. While there is one new weapon in the mahogany tree, there's another way to access the weapon in there, in another area that we'll briefly go over. Anyways, let's move forward a bit in time. After the quick time skip, about a few minutes. First, I'm going to show you how to navigate the dungeon of a treetop. First, you're going to want to notice these plugs. And now, what you're going to have to do is get into this thing here. And this should go pretty fast as long as you have a decent supply of nukes. And by pretty fast, I mean slow. You just want to blast through this. Be careful. The enemies in here are pretty dangerous, but you should be able to handle it. As you can see, if you keep moving here, or a bunch of mega chunks, 6 of them to be exact. I'll show you what that looks like after a brief time skip. But you just want to fly as straight as possible. Mega chunks, am I right? Oh boy. If only this game had speed tubes, these sections would be a lot less hellish. And after a while, you will see something that looks like this. A wall of plugs. Now it's as simple as growing on over. There's a bit of fanatic grass down there. And that's how you get the big radius rocket. But this isn't the thing that you're here for. Not at all. Excuse me? Oh no. That's not an oh no for you, that's an oh no for me. Well, basically, the next step of your journey is to go into this, and you're going to shrink a few times and keep going as up and up and up as you can, but I'm going to need a lot more nukes. Pretty sure is always guaranteed to be an amethyst at the top and iolite at the bottom. But usually when this is here, that's going to be on the second rung at most. man, that's evil. Well, I'll be back. I need to get more nukes. Well, now that I have more nukes, this is not going to be fun for me. Luckily, you're not going to have to experience much anguish. Man, I could almost cry. But you're going to want to take note of the orientation. Since this is the only one facing this direction, I'll know once I've gotten out of hell and back. It'll be the only one here. Only one in the front. That's one way to do it. There'll also be maps, just to demonstrate. Hopefully you can gauge by now, based off of the double shrink, that this is not going to be fun. But as you can see here, you can navigate this area by the maps. It's pretty dangerous in here. I recommend you stay in the middle. You go all the way up to where you gotta be. Sometimes there'll be tiny red cubes in the air. Stay away from them. There are greater viral scourges there that are resistant to EMPs and do a lot of damage per second. In other words, I'll see you in a jiffy. Oh man! Alright, so on my way to the progressive rocket, I'm going to take a brief intermission to show off Essex, the place where you can get the plasma shotgun, and also to demonstrate the rocket radius of the big radius rocket. What could possibly be firing at me, making that abhorrent sound? Anyways, I have some rockets. Check this out. It doesn't do the most damage. And as well as Essex, there appears to be Colchesters here as well, which is good. Nice cheap waypoint and a break. Because let me tell you, I ran out of nukes, and I'm not even halfway there. I would tell you that if you have a bad one to re-roll it, but also at the same time, I'm not going to recommend that on the sole fact of it took very long to even get here in the first place. So no matter what, it's probably better to just roll with it. Now if you excuse me, I need to go get more nukes. A few waypoints and a lot of flying later, you'll notice that I am here. At this point, I want to fly as much to the front area as possible. Of course. I don't have enough nukes to fly through these guys, but I do have EMPs. Too bad I'm going to have to use them constantly, or else I'm going to get killed to death. Honestly, if it were up to me, I'd get rid of most of those, because it's like, it only punishes you for like trying to get up this thing quickly. Like, you know, any player would really want to do, considering that this place is miserable. But my critiques aside, once you're at the layer that you have to be at, it'll look like this. Oh my gosh. Seriously? These guys are only here to hurt my feelings. You're just gonna fly. Yep. And now, instead of doing the journey vertically, now you're gonna do it horizontally. Hopefully that puts this into perspective. There's a white flower, a large one. That'll be important later. But there's many places to find large white flowers in the world. I recommend you do one, for reasons you'll soon see. Well, time to continue my misery, but in this direction instead. Now, after a certain point, you should reach a plug wall. But I just need you to know that it's not over yet. This disgustingly devilish contraption has more tricks up its sleeve, if you can believe that. I can. And for a third time. Oh boy. But it's almost over. I'll guarantee that. Look at this garbage. I think it wants you to fly through these, since you don't have to deal with these scourge things. So that's a safe way to do it. But that one's also faster. But either way, after a certain point, you're just going to want to keep doing this. Because the scourges, I guess, are supposed to punish you from being too open. Also, since we're already here, another intermission in this area. As you can see here, in these carrots, I'm just going to go inside one and tell you that if you find the carrot caves near all these mushrooms, well, that was lucky. You can find blue mushrooms in these. Anywhere you can find carrots. Whether you decide to go in the center of the mahogany tree, or Tegan's garden, which we'll talk about later. There's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to find carrots. I'm probably gonna have to go in there anyway. Now, after this point, to get into the inner part, you're safe. And this is where you find progressive rockets. This upgrade's very, very dangerous. Check this out. Yeah, give it a little while. It'll get to him eventually. Yup. And just like that, gone in a flash. Anywho, we still have a few more weapon upgrades left. Only plasma. Before we do that, I'd like to take a brief intermission to demonstrate how to enter a mahogany tree. Same way you enter any other tree. Well, that's actually not true, but you know what I mean. Mahogany tree is the same thing as a treetop, except much safer. And still gives you access to some of the same things. By going through the mahogany tree, you're just going to want to fly in one direction. And the only reason why I'm flying in here is because there's one more thing in here that allows you to get something else that I would like to demonstrate and show off. For this is an all-encompassing guide. This is showing off all the locations for things you can get them. So without further ado, I'm just going to fly straight until I get near the center. I'll be back in a jiffy. After a while, you will find yourself up against another plug wall. Assuming you flew in one direction. Now this is where the fun begins. So I'm only here to show you one specific thing. And I'm not even going to go in it. Careful, there's nuclear enemies here. They're pretty dangerous. You're just going to want to fly around. Here's where you can find carrots, and attached to these big old beets are Essexes. There's libraries here. I believe there also may be Colchesters. Aha, here it is, the Mahogany Cellar. I'm not going to go in this, because I feel like every person who's looking for these should experience fear for once in their lives. Pool balls. But this is a place where you can get the high velocity rocket, just in case you wanted to get all the rocket upgrades all at once. Can you cut that out? Jeez. Can't speak in here. But a few seconds. Anyways, carrots have blue mushrooms. Mahogany Cellars have the high velocity rockets, and the plasma shotgun is available in here. Now, without further ado, if I can just make my way out of here. Now, this is an extra segment for the plasma shotgun. Depending on whichever you find easier, going to Essex or going to space by growing as much as you can in the Tau Cave Moon, an option for you to take out here is to find one of these. This is decently rare, and it's called a fire rate moon. I'm not going inside of it at all, in fact, for that's its own endeavor, after all. But if you go into one of these, and you go as down and down and down as you possibly can, because to demonstrate, but not to partake in. Oh, yeah, you also got to get past these guys.
I am no more. I am no more. I am no more.
Where are shrinks at? Alright. Strange. Basically, I want to go into one of these.
I am no more.
There should be some shrinks nearby.
I am no more.
Yep, see? Just to put in perspective how big these are. You should be able to go into the plug. And then you want to reach the treasure room. For that is where it houses the plasma shotgun. Although in my opinion you don't really want the plasma shotgun because you'll quickly get it upgraded. And plasma just as a weapon, sadly, is not very strong. But it works when you need it to. Because it's the only weapon besides Dark Hole that you'll always have access to. In case you're in something like in Aladdin's cave. Anyways, you want to find yourself near the yellow area. There may be easier ways to shrink into, but you get what you get. Now you see these? You just fly as down as you can. But here's the thing. You may have noticed something. There's a shrink right here. Well, that's because you gotta shrink again. So what you want to do is, as this size, you want to find shrinks that are near the plug floor. And you want to shrink and grow and shrink and grow. Sort of like my idea of a speed tube, as much as you possibly can. I'm pretty sure I've already done this moon. Hence why I was able to get to it so quickly. But you just want to do that over and over again until you reach the very bottom, which has the treasure room. Anyways, on to the next segment. Now for the next weapon mode, what you're going to want to do is not find a Colchester, but wherever you can find a large white flower, you're going to want to go into and solve the maze. Here's the description box right here. I'm not going to do that on camera because that would kill me. But it is very much worth it. For as you can see here, if we go to large white flower, it'll gain you access to the Great White Cavern, which in turn bring you here. And this is a whole new area of its own. And if you're experienced, you know where this is going. But you're going to want to find a white and turquoise checkered box and fly to it until you reach it in about now. Now, for starters, I just want to mention that if you go up here at the top of this block, there will be an area that gives you access to every plant type structure in the game. By structure, I mean area. Of every flower variety, as you can see here. I'm pretty sure it even includes desert flowers, but don't quote me on that. That might be the only one that's not here. And I think there might not be apples either, but there's apples in another area in Burlington. Keyword just about. So that should expand your options on what you're doing, but you're not here for these, unless you are. In which case, it's for you to know. What you're going to want to do for this next weapon upgrade is go down to one of these towns. Doesn't matter which one. Say, let's do this one because the options are much wider. And you want to fly around. And when we see it, I'll tell you what you're looking for. Nope, not that. Almost, not quite. I want to fly around. There. One of these. But here's the thing. These have random good things inside of them. Windowless houses. This is where you'll find your next weapon upgrade, that being the lightning rifle. The only true hit scan weapon in the game. Doesn't follow the rules. Like every other weapon, including the Railgun, it does whatever it wants. Nothing. So, just like in I2 with the blue mushrooms and the lab bundles, be prepared to be here for a little while. And I'd say it's worth it enough. It allows a plasma weapon to actually hit big enemies, which no other plasma mode can really do. If enemies are larger than you, as in like a different level of coarseness, you can't really hurt them with your plasma. That's all about to change eventually, but I'll tell you when that happens. Ooh, I wonder where it could be. I've been looking around this for a few minutes now. Oh, looky there! It's in here. Yeah, I slightly staged it. I found this and I was like, just back up and then pretend like you never saw it. But there you go. As easy as that. Well, as I so expertly demonstrated before my game decided to rudely crash, Dan, please fix. Anyways, my mental anguish and frustrations aside, after a long bit of flying around, as long as you keep checking these windowless white buildings, you'll eventually stumble across the weapon modifier, this being the lightning rifle. As stated, this can hurt big things, and it's true hit scan. So even if I get really, really small, you'll notice here, still hits the pirate. Remember him. And if I shrink again, it'll still hit him immediately. While, if I fire this, it takes a while. Instant versus projectile. I know this may not be the best demonstration. That's the main use that I have for the lightning rifle. Hitting things from super far away. And are larger than you. Then again, you will gain more damage from using an alternative weapon because of that. Projectile speed. Versus. Seems like I don't have any target to demonstrate it on. Oh well. On to the final upgrade. You have to get involved with Mylantis. Specifically the inner city. But as you can see here, tisk tisk tisk. This is the only post-game weapon. And honestly, it's pretty funny. If you've seen my streams before, you know where this is going. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Here comes the airplane. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, you killed me. Ah, shut up. You go into here. Get your key. Oop. That's right. You get your key. Congrats, you beat the game. Now on to the top garden. Make sure to quickly hop your way over here. You have enough time if you just use the waypoint. You don't need nukes. What you're looking for is... Hold on. It said it a moment ago. I guess I came in here too fast. The beta sponge. This is a typical Menger sponge where you just go in and you shrink as much as possible. There's Hindenburgs in here in case it gets too difficult and you need a break. And I'll quickly demonstrate what that'll look like, as I will take one all the way to the bottom because I don't want to do this for a second time, considering I already have a video of me doing this on my channel. If you've seen it. The only advice that I'll give you is after layer 89, which there'll be blocks telling you which layer you're on, mind you, so you don't have to keep total track, is when the Hindenburg stops spawning. So you're going to have to take about a journey of 11 things in order to make sure that you get to the home stretch. And so if you excuse me, I'm just going to quickly... Aw, wasn't fast enough. Anyways. Eventually you'll find yourself in a beta sponge town. I'm pretty sure they're guaranteed to spawn with the secret Tau Caves moon. You can tell it's a secret because whenever you look at it, it'll have a dot on it in one of its O's, a blue dot. This is my spawn point. Save real quick. And I'm just going to buy some. That should do. Simple rat repellent. And let's say you finally managed to get to the bottom layers. You want to look for a green block. Looks kind of like grass. You want to go in that as soon as you can. Shrink. And these spawn so long as you're past layer 100. So if you overshoot it, don't be afraid. You can still get in. And it'll just hit you with the white box device. But as you can see here, you can just dodge it. And just like that, you have the plasma hyper rapid fire. This is kind of hard to show off in action because plasma can only hit things that are a similar size than you, but I'll still try and demonstrate it to the best of my abilities. Let's see here. Let's take this to the Mylantis layer. Cave layer 1. Shoots rapidly. It's basically a plasma every second, but instead of taking up 100 ammo per plasma, it's about 50. Good fire rate. Pretty sure it's the same as the little one with the damage of the shotgun. And we're already out of ammo. But yeah, this one's very resource intensive. But but it's still really cool nonetheless. Anyways, this is the end of the all weapons mode guide video. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully this will help you find whatever weapon you're looking for and understand what you're getting yourself into. All your options and all the current locations that house weapons. As of December of 2024. I'm gonna just warn you, everybody in advance that's been watching my content lately. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. New, old, subscribed or not, I don't care. Thank you for giving me a really good content creating year. And I'm just really thankful for my growth, even if it's not large to the point where most people would consider it. I'm thankful for it, and it's large to me. Hopefully this has helped, and this will be my last video of the year. Hopefully. It might release next year. I don't want it to release next year. If it didn't release next year, let's get some ogres in the chat. / comment section. You know what I mean. But ultimately, this is kind of gonna become a slowing point for my content. Or I'm starting college, and I'm gonna see if I can manage to continue doing this and see how this situation goes. But I'm gonna keep everybody posted and updated, no matter what. Thank you so much for watching.